Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Thank you for being here this morning. Thank you for being here this morning.
Let's go. Oh, let's start this show. King Roman news gonna come right through. Gonna give you that news just like you know it can do. Hot topics in your face, baby. King Roman knows his place, baby. King Roman news.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning.
6:30 a.m. Eastern time, baby. He's gonna come right on time with the news just for you. Celebrity news, politics, and local news just for you. King Roman news. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Monday, Wednesday, Let's go. Hey, let's start this show. King Roman news, coming just for you. King Roman news, coming just for you. 6:30 a.m. Eastern time, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. King Roman news, King Roman news. Let's go. Let's start this show. Let's go. Oh, let's start this
show. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Thank you for being here this morning. Thank you for being here this morning.
Let's go. Oh, let's start this show. King Roman news gonna come right through. Gonna give you that news just like you know it can do. Hot topics in your face, baby. King Roman knows his place, baby. King Roman news.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning.
6:30 a.m. Eastern time, baby. He's gonna come right on time with the news just for you. Celebrity news, politics, and local news just for you. King Roman news. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Monday, Wednesday, Let's go. Hey, let's start this show. King Roman news, coming just for you. King Roman news, coming just for you. 6:30 a.m. Eastern time, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. King Roman news, King Roman news. Let's go. Let's start this show. Let's go. Oh, let's start this show.
Good morning. Oh, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Am I loud? Can y'all hear me? I don't hear myself so loud in my own headset. This is a This is just a blessing. I love it. Good morning, y'all. Good morning. Good morning. Shout out to the crew. Thank y'all for being here. All 12 of y'all rocking with me. Please take a minute to hit that like button. Please just hit that like button for me. That pushes me into the algorithm right now as you're sitting in this live right now. The more engagement you do in the chat, the more we do this, it's pushing it further out. So please help me push this video out. Good morning and happy Friday. Happy Friday. This is the last Friday of October. Do y'all remember when we said happy Monday morning? First Monday in October. Well, we are at the last Friday. Hey Ox City 805 Queen. Good morning. And I thank you so much for being here first on time, early, your support. You know, I appreciate it so much. I thank you so much. What up, Joe? Good morning to you, Joe. Shout out to Joe. And Joe, thank you for sending me that story. I'm still putting some puzzle pieces of the puzzle together for that story. So I definitely will keep that on my list. But I definitely had to watch it all over again this morning. Hey, Jay Parrish. Good morning. Good morning to you. And everyone have a great weekend on purpose. And as always, be safe. Good morning, Hot Spicy Tea. Shout out to the moderators. Shout out to the moderators. Thank you for coming through. Morning, Tracy. Good morning. Those T's sound so crisp. Good morning. Good morning. Hey, Karen. Good morning, Karen. Thank you for being here. Shout out to Karen Spencer. Good morning. Blessings morning all. Ahead lies a great weekend for all. Oh, yes, it does. Good morning, Cash Apps and Bullshit. Good morning to you. What's up, Mister? Shout out to Mister. What up, Mister? Thank you so much. And it's a pleasure for you joining us. And now that I can connect the dots, thank you. I appreciate you for being here. Shout out to Mister. Good morning. Happy Friday to you. Not the deep. You know what? It ain't me. It's this. It's this mic. It's so seductive. Let me tell you. And then I get the echoing on it. I've been over here playing with it. I love it. And then I ordered my Yeti yesterday, so it should either be here today or tomorrow. So we'll have the Yeti mic, and we'll be really rocking and rolling over here. So thank y'all, thank you all so much. Love you, King. You get me through my commute to work. I'm glad to know it, and I hope you have a good day. And I hope this is the last work day either for you this week, and you get to chill. And we're going to cover a lot of things. We're going from all sides of the coast today in just 10 stories. I'm going to touch everywhere all over the United States. And I hope everything is engaging. I hope you all enjoy the stories. I found them to be very interesting. I divided them up. So if you look in the description box, shout out to that replay gang. Hey, replay gang, I'm talking to you. As you come in and watch this video when I'm no longer live, let me tell you this. Thank you. Thank you for taking the time to click that icon, click that thumbnail, and say, let me see what Roman was talking about. I appreciate you for getting what we in 8 minutes in. You here. Thank you. I appreciate that. And while you're here, can you hit that like button? And before I begin, I want to let you know, Replay Gang, and to the live chat, you can look in the description box and follow along of the various stories that we got covered today. So make sure you check that out. And before I begin, I have to do it because I love to do it and I enjoy doing it. But please let me thank you all so much for being here. As always, it's a pleasure. It is such a pleasure for me to wake up in the morning, these Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, to find some stories all over the world, whether they're hot topics, local news, to bring to you all. And today we have about 10 stories to get through. Now, we're covering a bunch of stuff: the governor's race. We're going through some crazy stories, man putting bleach in his coworker's drink. And then we're going to cover some serious crime and murder stories. One, dealing with those escaped twins. And so I hope you stick around. Shout out to the crew. Thank you for being here each and every day. When I go live, I see the support and I really do appreciate it. It really is what motivates and keeps me here. And shout out to my mems and my moderators. Thanks for holding me down. Yo, I appreciate that too. Y'all definitely come through. Y'all definitely support me online and offline. And I appreciate that. Y'all definitely part of the crew club, that crew list, that A1 list. And then let me just let y'all know y'all the dopest subscribers that I've ever had. I really do appreciate it. It's authentic support. It's 24-hour support. It's beyond just this live support. Y'all, we touch, talk, see, all of that good stuff. You give me great feedback, so I appreciate that. And if you haven't hit that like button, go ahead and hit that like button right now. All y'all likes matter. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, consider subscribing and hit that notification bell so you know when the next video drop. You never know when I'm gonna do an upload or a live. I'm just random like that. And if you want to show me some love, you can always send some love to the Cash App $sign Roman L. Jackson. And remember, everything goes back to supporting me, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then upgrading our equipment, baby. We just got our Yeti mic. It'll be in the mail either today or tomorrow. And I'll be testing that out. So let's get into what I got for y'all today. All right. So now the first thing I do want to get into is, I started doing this the last couple of shows, and I wanted to kick this show off with it. So I do have a very, very good quote that I wanted to stick us with before we get into our weekend. And it's so timely to me, and it's timely, I think, to a lot of other situations. But this is something that I definitely wanted to share with you all. Um, Friendship isn't about who you've known the longest, it's about who walked into your life, said, I'm here for you, and proved it. And I really, really want y'all to stick into what that said. Okay. I'm gonna play it read it one more time. Friendship isn't about who you've known the longest, it's about who's walked into your life and said, I'm here for you, and proved it. And I think that's a great way to judge friends and friendships. It's not about, you've been my friend for 20 years. You could have had a 20-year sucky ass friendship, but it's about really who comes in and makes an impact, short term or long term. And my friend from this past weekend, we hadn't talked in years, and we just picked up just like that. You think we was friends forever, and you really can't judge that on those, how long have we been down with each other. And even here on YouTube, you find yourself, you spend a majority of your time down here as a content creator, engaging with not only subscribers but other content creators, and you find yourself making friendships. And again, it's not about how long I've known you or how in depth you know me. It's about the impact we're making in each other's life, financially, non-financially, so all of those things. And I think it's really worthwhile as we get older to realize these checkpoints. Don't go so hard on, oh, you've been around for 80 something years. Rather, look at right now in your life, who is helping you be the better person that you want to be, or get you closer to your goals and your dreams. And when I saw this, I said, you know what, how fucking timely. I literally saw it like 2 days ago, and I said, how timely. I'm gonna say that for the crew. So again, friendship isn't about who you've known the longest. It's about who's walked into your life and said, I'm here for you, and has proved it. So stick that in your pocket. And then didn't I tell you all the other day that my friend from high school hit me up on the Cash App for my birthday? I think she saw the video. Never talked, but she made such an impression on me then that now I'm like, oh my God. So it's just really, it's not about who is around. It's all about how things work into that picture for your life. So take that into heat, store it in your back pocket. I definitely think it's something worthwhile for us all to talk about. Hey, Queen Diva, good morning. Ambrosia, good morning. Good morning. Hey, Miss Toby, good morning. King Room and Crew family. Yes, happy Friday. Amen. Not only friendships, but relationships. That's so true. That is so true. Even your relationships, you really do. And I think, yeah, you hit the nail on the head. That might have been my last thing, you know, the impact, So yeah. All right, now let's jump right into some things. Before I do that, I just want to make sure that everybody knows that everything here is allegedly. Make sure you do your own research. This is all everything that my opinion, my facts. This is not anything that you need to hold to the Bible. You need to definitely go and look it up yourself. All right, the first thing I want to get into and get over with is this Biden student loans. So if you don't know, the court temporarily blocked Biden's student loan forgiveness. Now, what happened was you had those 8 states who decided to sue Biden, but the court, dismissed it. And so what these 8 states did was they went to the Supreme Court, the appellate court, to get a to appeal the process. But until they make a decision on whether they're going to allow that court the case to move on, they ask for an emergency injunction, meaning halt it until you all tell us what you want to do. And that's what happened. People were like, it got blocked, it's canceled. No, really what happened is they're just waiting. And both courts have said they don't have legal standing They can't really tell how much tax revenue in the future will be harmed by this. You can't really talk about how the revenues of your states who service loan providers will be harmed by this. You can't, those aren't valid arguments. So they're telling them right now, we'll grant you this temporary injunction, but just know that even if we move forward, this might not go through. So that's why Biden is out here saying, he's out here in 2 weeks we'll be able to go ahead and move forward because the court isn't going to do anything. And he's right. In 2 weeks, it'll be the same thing. However, you still have to realize that he doubled back on that one thing, which was not allowing us folks of the private loan to group our loans in with the federal loan so that we can get all of those benefits. We're still standing out here with our private loans like, okay, Biden, hey girl, what's up? But after the October 14th date, if you submitted your application, you should see, I think after November 15th, you're not going to get a check, but you're going to see a $20,000 deduction on your student loan. So if you log in, I don't know how you use yours. I go through Navient. They have an app. You log in, you'll be able to see literally a $20,000 deduction allegedly. So if that means something to you, congratulations, and definitely do what you can to take hold of that. I don't know if that helps your credit, but you should. Now, folks are saying like, okay, so say this go through in November and they find a loophole next year. Is this reversible? Can you come back in the future? Like, can you come back in March of next year and say, oh, it's reversed now? So all of those folks, and what they're saying is no, once the government goes in and modifies a loan under this current act, which was built out of the COVID-19 package, it's not reversible. It's built in that it's permanent, and then at that date, if anything changes, it won't be retro. It's just moving forward. So that was the saving grace in that. So we're still in the same play. He's doing everything he can for the primaries. Again, I told you I was going to watch him all the way through it. He did something, but it just wasn't enough for everyone, down the middle, certainly for the middle class American. Um, hey, Kimberly Black, good morning. Good morning. Thank you. Thank you. I pray that I receive my loan. I follow all the steps. And I'm praying that I get something. I'm hoping I get something, just to, even if it's like 1,000 or something. I hope I get something back. Seriously, um, because it's worth it. And so that's where we stand with this. Now, I want to move into quickly Brittany Griner. It's a lot of news that came out after, the Russian court basically denied her appeal. Now, what I wanted to share about that, I don't know if many people gave you all details about this, but the appeal process in Russia is very much so 86% of the time when cases are appealed, they're not reversed. So you have two layers similar to our courts. So she went through her first appeal. Now she can go through another appeal, but they're telling her at that first appeal it was 86%. Sweetheart, what do you think it's going to be at the third? So they're saying she's stuck with this 9 years of really, it's really going to be very, very hard for her. And as I was reading more details today, I was like, oh, this is going to be some shit for her. So they're literally going to transfer Brittany Griner from this sort of jail institution that's in Moscow to a penal colony that's about, they say it's 30 days traveling distance from where she is. They're going to isolate her and put her in a dorm room style, one room full of 60 other women. They're going to have two bunk beds each, and she's going to be forced up to 14 to 24 hours of hard labor per day. They say that, it's almost likely she's going to lose weight. And it's expected that more than likely, they, before there's even a consideration of let's swap, they'd like for her to have served at least 1/3 to 2/3 of her time. So then you start thinking about everybody else who's swapped, like, oh, okay, now I'm starting to see. And so that came out of this report from this penal report, at the grim conditions of this penal report, and it came from, okay, it was it's this group out of Russia who actually is against Russia and what they're doing to, what is it called? I was shocked they had a group in Russia that actually spoke against, but because there were so many people along the years, like I didn't even know the Pussy Riot band. They had a member who went to jail in Russia. She went to the penal colony. She came out and told them that, she had 17-hour days of working in a sewing shop, regular assaults on prisoners, sleep deprivation, a lack of basic hygiene. They lost about 40 pounds in weight, and most times women are suffering sexual assault as well as sexual abuse. So that's where we stand with her, and it doesn't seem like, it's going to be like a swap like that. Now, Biden has issued a statement: we're working hard, we're going to try to do something, but I think Russia is doing everything in their power right now to solidify this sentence, to get her on the footing to have served some time before there's even a discussion about swapping. For them, it's about a political pawn. We still got the Ukraine and Russia war. We still got a lot of the European Union and US backed sanctions that are hurting the Russians, specifically this oil issue that we're going through, where they're just dumping large amounts of oil in the sea now because they're producing so much that they don't, and no one's buying. China can only buy so much. India can only buy so much. These countries can only buy so much and use so much. And meanwhile, the United States, we're going through our reserves. Like we went through, I think they said we went through a 50-year bout of reserves in this short period of time. And our expectations that we're be able to recoup that. And so now we're looking at, should we open up the embargo with Venezuela? Should we start looking at these countries that we boxed out? In my opinion, yeah, every time I believe there's a new president, you should sit at the table and look at everything. There's a new perspective, there's a new administration, there may be a new tone in the country. We change as we get older, our perspective. I wasn't around when the shit went down with Cuba, the crisis missiles. I wasn't here. And I would love to go to Cuba. And my TT tell me all the time, I remember you can't go to Cuba and stuff like that. So it's like, yes, you should change. You should always come to the table and think about it. Like, is this a time to renegotiate? Because you find yourselves boxed in these situations. Now we're dependent on Russia, and Russia is making a lot of money from these smaller countries who are buying their oil cheaper, their labor, all of that stuff. And so we're not hearing about it because there's no plan of action. There's nothing to do. There's nothing glossy to say right now. It's all, well, what are we going to do? How are we going to get out of this situation? So when I look at the Russia Brittany Griner situation, I always look at it as one side of it. They're gonna hold her out for as long as they can before then it becomes okay. Now this becomes a ploy. How bad do you want Brittany Griner, and what are you willing to either give up or sacrifice for that? And I think that's where they are going with her. So I'm definitely going to keep my eyes, my prayers, my hearts, and my thoughts with Brittany Griner and her family, her wife. I can only imagine. Well, I can't, but you being an American citizen and then finding yourself in this penal colony with all of these Caucasian Russians, and other foreigners. And they were saying how the people were forced to eat spoiled meat because they didn't have enough meat. And I'm like, and people were dying, stomach issues. I'm like, can you imagine that? That would, I think the mental part of that would drive your ass crazy. You mean to tell me you're gonna plop my ass in a penal colony? I had to go look it up what it was. I'm like, oh, literally. And it take you, if you ever looked at a map of Russia, that's too much. I was gonna show my map on the wall up there, but Russia is huge, almost double the size of the United States. But not all of it is populated because it's rugged. And if you go further north, you go the more terrain and very dangerous weather conditions. And so they have penal colonies there where they're isolated from other populations. There's no internet. There's no none of that shit. They're just all out there, and they're gonna push her there. I'm like, wow, that's gonna be a shocker. So I'm gonna stay tuned to that, and it sucks, and it's very, very sad. Also, check your job to see if you qualify for the public service forgiveness. Yeah, yep. Good morning, y'all. It's Friday. 4 more hours with these raggedy ass people on the job, baby. It's just heartbreaking to know she got to do that much time for a vape cartridge. Yep, this is so sad. Praying for her. It is. It really is. At this point, they are going to have to kidnap her. We need to stop acting like we don't do ish like this, baby. Look, listen. When we want to get someone, we'll get them. You saw what happened with Bin Laden, and I always go back to that day when who was it? Barack Obama came out and gave that message. So we absolutely can. Now let's turn our attention, and so we're 25 minutes in. I hope you definitely hit the like button as you came in, got cozy with your coffee. We're gonna get into this because I really want you all to be on the up and up, even if it's not in your state. I want you to know what's going on with these governor races. I'm not gonna spend a whole amount of time on it. I'm just gonna breeze through it in a digestible manner so you understand high level what's going on. All right, so we have the governor races going on, and really there are about four races that are really going to be the battleground states during this time. So right now we have Republicans controlling about 28 of the government offices in the country, and the Democrats control 22. So you have 22 Democratic controlled states, and then 28 Republican controlled states. Of that, 36 states are holding elections in this upcoming race. That's 36 states. Out of those 36 states, 20 states are having a battle with Republicans, meaning Republican has a tight hold grip on those elections, meaning there is a future flip on the horizon. Y'all thought Trump becoming president was a flip? When you have all of these governors Republican conservative taking the majority, even more of the majority, oh baby, it's gonna be some issues. So let's get into this. So what we have here first is we have this governor race in New York. Now, on the one side, you have the Democratic candidate Kathy Hochul, and then you have the Republican Lee Zeldin. Now, there hasn't been a Republican governor in New York State for 20 fucking years. Do you know this man got a lock hold on this race? They're saying potentially if New Yorkers don't show up, that New York State could be flipped governor wise. And I said, no, 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 no. Yes, y'all. I'm giving you high level. You need to go in and do some research on this to understand some of the issues and arguments. But I'll tell you this, one of the biggest things that she's facing is crime. And you know how Republicans are on fear mongering and making people feel scared under Democrats. And look what's going on. And you see all this stuff. Well, the Republicans have learned through Trump. If you use fear mongering, if you tell people, the white women in the suburbs, that they may get robbed by a crackhead, that might just cause enough people to come to your table. And that's what they're seeing in this whole thing in the New York State, that he has a little bit a hold on her. So we got some time. I just wanted you all to know, if you are in New York and you are voting, it's up to you. Don't believe me. I'm telling you, go research them. But I'm letting you know that New York State is another one, is a state that we need to be careful for and we need to watch out for. All right. The next one, which I'm finding just to be so interesting, is that we have this governor race in Minnesota. So you have these two individuals, right? You have a Democratic governor currently, which is Tim Walz, and then you have the GOP candidate, which is Scott Jensen. Now, just like New York, they haven't had a Republican governor in a while. And so everyone is saying that Governor Scott Jensen is looking a lot like the viable candidate because, and I'm doing this for a reason, y'all, fear mongering, stoking the fear in people of, immigrant policies, um, too much of your social services and social benefits is going to the wrong places. You're gonna lose jobs, all of those things. And if you don't understand, Minnesota is one of those towns where it's heavily segregated. My mother used to live in Minnesota. Don't ask me how, why. But she used to live up there, and it's very segregated, but there's a lot of Latinos, Native Americans. There's a lot of that culture going on. So when you hear them talk about immigrants and that kind of stuff, they're not really, we're how far are y'all from the fucking Mexico border? Y'all ain't really talking about immigrants. What y'all talking about is the people that are actually residents in your areas. But don't listen to me. Go look it up. But I'm letting you know Minnesota is going to be another tight race that people are going to be watching. Then we have the battleground state. So this is an official battleground state governor's race in Michigan. You have Governor Gretchen Whitmer, who was recently in the news because she was about to be kidnapped by these guys. Thank God they were white men. I don't thank God that she was going to be kidnapped and they were going to plan, but I'm like, Jesus Christ! If I was even hoping it wasn't a Latino, So they had a whole organization. I mean, they had mafia style on this woman. They had pinpoint. They were doing surveillance on her a month before. Like they were about to get her. Anyway, so she's the current governor. She's going up against the Republican candidate, Tudor Dixon. Now, if you ask me, both these women act just alike. Stuck up, snooty. They had a debate the other night. They both were just highfalutin. I couldn't get into either one. I would, what I mean? I would move out the state just so I can have to vote for these two. Um, what they're saying is that this is all going to also be relying on safety and jobs. And Governor Gretchen Whitmer is trying to rely on the morals that, yeah, somebody may have tried to kidnap me. Yeah, they may have tried, but they didn't get away with it. Our task force, we got them. No one will get away with it in my state, get away with crime. While the other candidate is more so like, see, you see what happens when you just let crime get away in your state and you just let stuff happen and you don't control it and you don't handle it, you even become a victim. And I'm like, well, I mean, what's your response, sweetheart? So that's what's going on in Michigan. I don't care. I don't care. I really want you all to know what's going on across the board so you can see at the end of this, I can tell you the pattern that I see going on. Now, the one race that I definitely 100% care about and I'm just so upset right now about is the Georgia race. So we haven't heard much about it, and that's for a reason. The Dems are actually they're upset with Stacey Abrams and her performance. She doesn't have a leg up. And when it comes to her and Kemp, she has been trailing him for the last several months between 5 and 10 points. And so the really, really good winner that's in the party of the Democratic Party that's running for an office in the state of Georgia right now is this Raphael Warnock. I'm sorry. People like him, even Republicans like him. He's running for a state senator position. He's going against Herschel Walker. And see, Herschel Walker is already making whoever goes against him the best looking candidate. And it's Raphael Warnock, the Democratic state who wants to run for state senator. So everyone likes him, all the white moderate voters, all of the Republican moderate voters. He's really gaining footage. So much that he's gaining more foot than Stacey Abrams. And so Stacey Abrams recently came out in an interview and they were like, no, they asked him in an interview, hey, are you going to campaign with Stacey Abrams? Go throw some of your weight around at her. Like, are you going to go do it? And he was like, he played it very well. He was like, listen, everybody wants to know who I'm going to campaign with. Everybody want to know where I'm going to go. That's not I'm here campaigning for myself. And I said, oh, is there some fighting going on in-house? Because see, we don't know this, but there's always fighting going in-house Democrats, Republicans, and we just don't know about it. And so that very next day, her and him were on she was on his campaign trail. And I think that's the issue. She probably wants him to come to her campaign stops and tout her message. But see, it's a little bit difficult when she's been on the trail a lot longer than him. We're talking years. So it's easier for her to come to his campaign trail, support his message. That way, if she had a harder message, a softer message, the way he laid it out, she can follow up. And as I have said, she didn't want that. So, but she did. She followed. She came to his campaign trail. They're hoping that this turns her around. But what they're saying is that she's not appealing anymore. not only is she not appealing to the white voters, but they're saying that she ostracized black male voters in the state. They're saying, this is just by articles that I read, that she put a lot of she disenfranchised black voters when the abortion stuff came around, and she felt like she was pushing her weight as women's empowerment, supporting the abortion rights movement. And a lot of that didn't touch a lot of the black men, who support her in some of these smaller leagues, these organizations that really have these coalition of voters. They didn't like that. So a lot of people are pulling back on her. And I'm like, yeah, you pull back on her, but who's the alternative? That's the thing. So she got some PR to do. Apparently, she's not talking the track. She's carrying some of the older messaging from when Trump was around. She hasn't adapted to current things and current situations. Whereas Raphael Warnock, he looks so ready, fresh, he's new, he's inviting. People don't know too much about him, and his opponent sucks, Herschel Walker. It's like, oh, he running against him? Well, I'll vote for you. And so that's what she's running up against. So I said, let's stay tuned. All roads lead us to believe that if history repeats itself, Georgia will go to Kemp, and the state senator seat will go to this this Raphael Warnock. That's what, if history repeats itself. But if he can get his weight around her and they can get together and get some synergy going around messaging, maybe she need to repeat some of the things he's saying. Maybe people need to get her out of that Trump, take down Trump era, because that ostracizes some folks. They still think you feel like that. Maybe you might need to say, it's not that I don't like Trump, I just didn't like his policies. I could eat with Trump, but we couldn't talk about policy. you know, Maybe they need to see you soften a little bit. I don't know. I'm gonna think about it, sweetheart. I'll put it together. But I like you, Stacy. You definitely wrangled the girls. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? It's just the heart. Yeah. At this point, child doing the Willie Horton propaganda. propaganda. Exactly. Hey, Quinn Jones. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Journey. Good morning. Hey, Grand Rising Zaire. Good morning, Brick Girl. Good morning. Thanks to the crew coming through. I don't care for her. She just gives me bad vibes for some reason. I don't know why, but not giving good energy. See, Joe, and you're a male, and that's what's happening. I'm reading all kind of articles, and I was very shocked by when a guy from one of the local NAACP coalitions said, I'm not really too fond of her, the way she pushes black men away just so she can heighten her own messaging. And I'm like, really? See, I'm not in Georgia, so I don't see it, and I'm not too close to that. But really? Wow. Worried about jobs. Come where I live. We got 4 brand new built restaurants that open because nobody wants to work. They are begging phlebotomists at the hospital over. Wow. Ain't that something? Sophia, yes, please hit that like button, y'all. Come on, hit that like button. Yes, the Virginia show. Good morning, boo. Caught alive. I'm glad you're here. Thank you. Plus, he's the former pastor of Dr. King's church. Aha, I forgot to add that point too. That brings a whole separate, how some of us, we are for the people, but that brings a whole separate, we are for the people with credibility. You know what I mean? Sort of like, yeah, we are really for the people. With Stacey Abrams, it's like, yeah, you're for the people, but now today, which group of those people are you representing? That's what people are saying. I'm not necessarily saying that. And if I was in Georgia, I would vote for Stacey Abrams, but I do definitely think she needs to do some. Girl, you got to, I know what you got to do. You got to do it, though. You got to do it. I live in Vegas and jobs are everywhere. Yes, yeah, I agree. They are hiring. I'm telling you, people are quitting and people are moving to these the contract jobs. These gig jobs. I Let me tell you, I even was trying to find is there gig work in my line. That you can move to an app based some shit. You can order me on an app. I can just do some. But no, it's not the case. Um, what up? King Woman News. Not all men can't handle a vocal woman. Miss Toby, that's the truth. And it's so sad that even even when it's pertaining to issues that affect us. When I say us, black men and women, we have to separate it into, okay, now how much of that is for black men and how much of that is for black women. And it goes back to the whole Jim Crow era where we were taught to separate, and who's the winner. We all can't win. Somebody got to be the winner, and who's better, and pick and pull. And I just see it, and it's like, wrong situation. Because if not her, then you're settling for Kemp just because you don't like her as a black woman standing up for some issues that you may not be for, versus a man who was trying to get Trump's whole thing thrown away. What are we doing? Nate, what up? Good morning, fam. Good up, Nate. Nate. So I copied this because I want you all to see this so you can see if your state is here. So here's where we are on the map. 5 all the way on the end, the blue is Democrats, and all the way on the red is the Republicans. So look at your state and you can see where they fall. I'm in Maryland, and it's saying that we are solidly Dems, and that's where we're gonna fall. Now I don't know about all of that. But look at your states and see. The toss-ups are Arizona, Kansas, New Mexico, Nevada, Oregon, Wisconsin. States that are leaning Republican, Georgia. States that are leaning Democrat, Maine, Michigan, Minnesota, Pennsylvania. So this will be interesting. This will be a very interesting race for us to pay attention to. I just wanted to get you caught up on, what's been going on in these governor races. And Arizona has a tight race as well. I really hadn't paid attention to it. So check that out. Now we are about to switch on over to the crazy stories. But before I do that, I really need you all to go ahead, okay? Go ahead and hit that like button. Thank you. Maybe we broke it down this morning. We done went through student loans, Brittany Griner, and the governor's race. Okay, now we finna get into the fool-la-la, the crazy shit of the day. Now, before I do that, y'all, we got some mail. So I went to the post office. If y'all don't know, I left my keys in LA. My friend had to overnight them to me. Couldn't overnight, so I went to my PO box. And I went to the PO box and I had packages. Somebody sent me a card, but I'm not opening cards. I'm gonna open cards and then I'm gonna show because I don't want to be like fucked up. But this is, remember I told y'all I had got a candle from Andrew Caldwell. So this is his, he sent it to me. I will tell you this. When I had it in my car yesterday, you could smell the candle through the box. Like I smell the candle. And so I'm like, dope. That's dope. That's reassuring, number one. But I felt like I broke something. So I said, I'm gonna wait until live to open it. So that way, if I need to return something, we could. So on live, hey, I did a whole video. You saw how I opened that box up. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. What was that? Shaggy? It wasn't me. Oh, it do smell good. Okay, Mr. Caldwell. Okay, all right. So it's the packaging that it's the packaging of his. It opened up the box. So it's the box packaging. Can you see it? Wellness Candle by Andrew Caldwell, and it's cute. It got a little holder. This is what fell out the box. And then hold up, y'all see Eli? Because he always think he getting some shit. Look at this one. You see him? You ain't getting shit. And then here's the candle. Oh, it smells good. It really does smell good. And so this is the Wellness Candle by Andrew Caldwell. Y'all know I'm always trying to support black businesses all the time, especially if I frequent your chat. Even if I talk shit about you, I'm going to spend some money on you now. I'm going to give you a little something for my time, treating you like shit. Andrew Caldwell is one of those individuals. Now, I've always just enjoyed watching him laughing with the chat, talking my shit. But I've also always loved watching this man and his business efforts and attempts and all of that. And this candle was one of them. I don't know if you all remember, he's been talking about doing a candle for so long. And when I jumped down in the live, because he hadn't been on YouTube in a while, and said, I'm gonna start my candles back up. I said, oh, bitch, let me order a candle. So now he was trying to swindle us, trying to get us to buy 2 candles for the price of, I think it was, I don't know. I said, I'm getting 1 candle and we gonna see. So I got my 1 candle. I'm gonna light it. Um, get this aroma going in here this morning. Shout out to Andrew Caldwell. Y'all go check his website out. It's a health and wellness candle. It actually does smell really, really good. It says jasmine bamboo, but it's given very much so fragrance floral body spray, like ocean rain. Could even be like a glade spray. I don't know, but it's cute. All right. All right. Let's get back into the shizo. Shout out to Caldwell. Let me see. That's in everything too. Just like they say, women not supposed to preach, right? Maryland may have our first black governor. I see. Shit is changing. Shit is changing. Yes, yes. Oh, yes. Andrew Caldwell cancel. Oh, yes, that's it. Thanks for supporting. Of course, of course, of course. Thank you. All right, y'all. So this first crazy story. This shit is crazy. So no, I'm just gonna break the story down. I'm not even gonna do a video on this one. So this man in Florida, right? He works at, and that's not the guy. That's just a picture they had. So he works at Dollar General. Okay, him and a coworker work at Dollar General, and now they have been getting into it like all week long, just getting into it. At the point that the smaller frame coworker bumped into the larger frame coworker. So, in my mind, that tells me that that larger person must be the weakling. He must be the one that get pushed over, and that small guy must think he's the short man complex bully. Ain't nobody slapped the fuck out of him yet. That's what I'm thinking in my mind. Like, okay, well, I was right. Once the bigger guy, after he got pushed, the next day he came to work when the short guy was on the register and he had his Pepsi can and he put it back down. The bigger guy came over, poured bleach into his Pepsi can, wiped the bleach clean, then walked back by, spit in the can, wiped it clean, and then went on about his business. The shorter guy came back to the register, took a sip, and smelled bleach and panicked and called 911. Oh my God, I'm about to die. Oh my God, oh my God. So 911 comes and they're asking the man, did you put bleach in it? Blah, 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 blah. The man's like, no, he didn't. No, I didn't. They go and watch the video camera. They see the man pouring whole thing of, he measured it, poured it in there, measured it, poured it in. I said he was trying to kill you. What gets me, they asked the shorter guy, would you like medical attention? He said, no, I'm fine. I said, yeah, what's going on here? So here is the guy. This is the guy. This is what he looks like. Oh, I got the bleach man. Let me see if I got a picture of him. This man, he looks like you need to stay way away from him. So this is the guy who put the bleach. Now he looks like a punk. I mean, let me not say that. Calling people a punk early this morning. He just looks like he's giving what it's giving. That's the guy. Ain't no motherfucking way. Who you talking to? Yeah, right. Can you imagine? This your coworker. Y'all already tussling. And he don't put bleach in your shit. Yeah. So he was arrested and they're holding him in jail. And now his life has changed forever because he couldn't handle getting into it with somebody at his job. So I thought that shit was fucking crazy. All right. So this next crazy fucking story, and this could happen to any of us. So this comes to us out of Florida. And I don't understand, a lot of stories today. I mean, Atlanta. I don't understand how people are getting pinned down by their cars in the garage. So you know how you're in a parking garage. And shout out to Bossip. That's where I got this article from. Bossip. Shout out to Bossip. Blah 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 blah. What up? What up? know how you're in the parking garage, right? You're driving. You got the ticket. You're going to put the ticket in there, and then you're going to pay to get it. But if you don't drive up close to it, sometimes you have to get out and lean. The man did that and left his foot on the gas, and by natural reflex, as you're pushing yourself to go further, you're pushing. He pushed on the gas. As his body is out like this, you know, the little, you gonna run into the wall, smashed his whole fucking die, killed himself. So as he floored and his body went right into the wall or whatever. And he couldn't stop because of natural reflex. He's holding down trying to get over, killed himself. And they said in this parking garage in this city in Atlanta, this wasn't the first time. Just 9 months earlier, a woman did the same fucking thing. Let me read this shit. I'm like, tear the bitch down. What do you mean the woman did the same thing? Obviously, it's a design flaw. Not you ain't gonna tell me two people killed themselves trying to pay themselves out of a parking garage. Okay, at that point, the owner needs to assess liability. So here it go. So they said the second woman, where it goes. This accident comes after another woman was suffered a similar incident back in January when her head became trapped between her car and the pavement machine in the parking garage. Security footage showed the woman exiting the parking garage, and when she dropped her car while attempting to pay for parking, as she opened her car door and reached down to retrieve her car, she accidentally accelerated and her car and her head got stuck in between the fucking thing. It's not funny at all. It's a freak accident. But how do you have the two of the same things happen in the same location within what, January and what's October? 9 months? Damn. I mean, and they sound like the person's fault, but I don't know if I'll be parking there no more, y'all, on some real shit. Or I'm gonna pay the meter on an app. I'm not paying through no parking garage. Like that's a little shady. That's a little shaky. Show that part. I like women's now, Andrew. Yes, yes. This is so shameful. Oh no. Wow. Oh no. Don't he know he can get a charge? Never. Yes. More than a charge, bitch. You put bleach. I'm just trying to imagine a person going like this and then just deciding to call 911. It would be 911 because of something else. I'd have thrown my whole fucking glass at this man. Are you kidding me? Big dummy. Okay. Oh, wow, that's crazy. Yes. Yes, in the same parking garage. Now we about to speed it up into some of our more sinister crimes, but before I do that, this is another crazy story. Now, this one is coming to us out of Detroit. Shout out to Detroit. Now, it saddens me to even tell this story. So this woman had been watching her grandson for her her son's and his wife's child, 2-year old. She had been watching him and she had done this before. And just on this day in time, the police received a phone call at 1 a.m. in the morning to come to this residence. No reason was given. Once they got to the residence and walked into the room, which she led them into the room like nothing happened, they found the boy bleeding from the side of his head. After it all came out, she had stabbed this boy in the side of his head twice, trying to off him, and had the nerve to call the police. Now we got a video. We're gonna watch it because the mother, she trips me out a little bit. Um, so the police come and they arrest, she gets arrested, she's locked up, and now the son is the baby boy is traumatized. He's pretty much traumatized, and they're trying to figure out what was her motive. So, the mother says mental health. I'm like, now why would she say mental health? Because if you knew that, just by the fact that you knew that she had mental health and you left your 2-year-old child with her, the city could bring some shit possibly against you all. And she's talking, I know she's a concerned mom and I know she's saying things, as any mother would. But for me, if that happened at 2 years old and that as fatal as that, I can only imagine the shit she's done to your child from 1 up until 2. And a lot of times kids can't tell you. They're nonverbal. So, a pinch, she could have pinched him and it was hard and hurt. And what he gonna do? Scream and cry all the time? Well, that's normal. So I looked at this shit and I said, yeah, I want to know what the son had to say. You don't hear nothing from the son. You don't hear shit from the son. But the girl, oh, she talking. The son is who I want to hear from. Cause I tell y'all, if this was in my life and between me and my mom, I'll let y'all know after we watch this. But y'all got to get into this video because this woman lost her whole soul and don't need it back. And shout out to the crew. I hope y'all hitting that like button. We here rocking and rolling this morning with commentary on things going on in the world. I appreciate y'all being here with me. Please hit that like button. Let's get into this. Let's go.
We're going to begin at 5 with a 2-year-old stabbed, and Detroit police say it was the little boy's grandmother who did it.
Now, right now, the child is back home from the hospital recovering with his parents.
This happened overnight at an apartment complex on Chrysler Drive, right near the 9475 intersection. Jacqueline Francis live at those apartments. Jacqueline, you saw the boy and his parents today.
I did. I got to see the toddler today. He was so sweet as he was clinging onto his parents as they told me what happened. They say that the toddler's grandmother, who lives here at this apartment complex, was the one arrested in the case. They say that she watched him regularly and they relied on her for childcare, never thinking something like this would happen. 2 years old, rushed to the hospital just before 2 this morning with stab wounds. The mother of the toddler said when she first saw her son in the hospital bed, she feared he was dead. The parents say the 2-year-old was in the care of the grandmother when she allegedly stabbed him at her apartment complex on Chrysler Drive in Detroit. Police say the 56-year-old woman was arrested and is in custody. I went to see the toddler at his parents' home in Oak Park. Still drowsy from the medicine, he was up and walking around with multiple lacerations on his head and a bandage on his wrist. Back here at the apartment complex, neighbors that didn't want to go on camera tell me they heard crying in the middle of the night, but didn't think much of it. Detroit police continue to investigate and Child Protective Services have been notified. The toddler's parents are cooperating with police in the investigation, and they also tell me that they believe that the grandmother may be struggling with mental health issues, but they added that's no excuse for harming a child. Reporting live in Detroit.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. The minute they said that shit, I'm trying to figure out if these are educated folks, not even fully like going to school, but aware. Do you know that's almost admitting fault? Putting your 1-year-old, 2-year-old, 3-year-old in the care of someone that you believe you might think is experiencing mental health issues. You've just now said, yeah, I know that. And I know that she may stab him in the neck. I know that she may push him down some stairs. I know that she may not feed my child because she's experiencing mental health issues. That's why I said the mother I had to look like, I hope they investigate y'all too. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know it could be a little mistake. You be thinking, that's just my mom. She ain't gonna do nothing wrong. But if you know your mom is going through some shit, you need to be there with those during those supervised visits. Now this poor child so what's the story gonna be? Yeah, we dropped you off. She was going through some stuff at the time. We dropped you off over there and she ended up stabbing you. Unacceptable. Unacceptable. Not you knowing. Not you knowing. It's unacceptable. Unfucking acceptable. Um Thank you. Thank you, Virginia Show. I appreciate it. Good show. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. That's right. Say why. No, we know when someone yes, we absolutely know when someone is crazy. You don't leave your kids with them. Drugs, quite possibly. All of them, if you ask me. Man, that's messed up. It really is. It really is. Now, let's get into this next story. Mm, 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 mm. So this next story comes to us out of what is it, Atlanta? Is this an Atlanta story? Yeah, Texas. Now this story has been going on for quite some time now, over the last weekend or so. So we have this young baby girl, Nadia Lee, who's been missing. She's been missing. She's been missing after her mother was killed in a hotel. Now get into this. Jyron Lee, which is the father here in this picture, he apparently had been stalking and harassing this mother of 5 kids. One of them happened to be his child, which is 2-year-old girl Nadia Lee. So she was trying to get away from him, apparently, based on the mom. We're gonna watch a video clip. Based on the mom, she had been trying her hardest to get away from him, and he apparently was able to finesse his way back in with her to have talks and visit the child. So that had been going on. Even though she had an RSO, that had been going on. So she moved her and her 5 kids to this hotel where they had been staying this a couple nights. Well, apparently he came over. Now, different articles say two different things about this. One article say he came over, another article say he was spending nights there. What do Roman believe? He was spending nights there. That nigga ain't just coming over, girl. No, you already have abuse charges from him, and you already got all this other shit. You think he just coming over because he want to see the kids? I, you know, not even women. When will we all understand the finessing of a motherfucker? They will finesse us, finesse you. Men and women will finesse the fuck out of you. You be thinking it's for your own good. No, if they finessed you once, they're just now learning how to do it better so that you can't tell that you're being finessed. Oh, baby, but if you've been finessed and you know you've been finessed, you need to be prepared to be finessed. You ain't gonna, I mean, sometimes you give in. Okay. But you don't give in on the stake of my 5 kids in my hotel room. Nah, nigga, you can't come over here. The fuck? No. Granted, the mother says she was scared of him. Granted, the mother says she was terrified of this man. However, he came over to the hotel. Well, they got into an argument and he strangled her to death in front of all 5 of her kids. Strangled her to death. And he told the police when the police came that she was trying to strangle one of her kids. And so he put her in a chokehold, and that's when she stopped breathing. So wasn't arrested or nothing like that. They investigated it and they wanted to look in more into it. Well, he took his child, this Nadia Lee, with him. And as they went to go arrest him after determining that he was the one, he fled and the baby was no longer, they couldn't find the 2-year-old daughter, Nadia Lee. And so they said at his apartment when they got him, it was a crime scene because they could see traces of blood, all of this shit. Now, mind you, the mother was killed and strangled at the hotel. So who it leaves, who's the only other person left with this man? So they can't find the girl. All the police are saying is foul play. She's, sort of been either murdered or, somewhere where if time keeps going on, she will die. She's a 2-year-old child. These fucking lunatics, man. How don't you, for your own seed? That shit is nuts to me. That shit is crazy. Like, you're mine. Like, that's mine. And I'm doing this to mine. Just imagine how you think about your own self. So I'm gonna show you his nuts ass picture again before we go on to see this video of this mother. So this is him, and that's her, and that's the baby. And here's the baby at 2 years that no one can find. Here is the actual missing and endangered that they have up. And so let's just get into this video because I need to hit this. This got my nerves. I just, you know what it is? I just be thinking about the innocent people, the innocence of folks who ain't even got life, who ain't even ain't even go and experience the world yet. And you got these bastards out here just taking advantage of them. My heart just empathizes with that child. And it empathizes with the mother, but more so with the child. Like, damn, dad, you can't even take me. Just drop me off at the police department. Just if you don't want her to have me, just drop me off. You know? That's why I need to hit this real quick. So I don't tear up. So here, get into this video, y'all. What a bozo.
Now to new developments in a story we brought you yesterday morning as breaking news. A man accused of killing his common-law wife.
So overnight, that man appeared in court for the first time. Our Rochelle Turner is live in downtown Houston with how much the judge set the bond for that man. Good morning.
Good morning, Owen. A judge set bond for 26-year-old Jyron Lee at $250,000. He is charged with murder. Take a look at his mugshot. Here's what we know right now. He is accused of killing his common-law wife, Nancy Reed. And during PC court last night, officials stated that Reed went after their 3-year-old child. Lee stated that Reed tried to choke him, but he talked to his head and prevented her from grabbing him. Officials say Lee was holding Reed with both of her arms from behind her and put her into a chokehold. Officials say Reed was starting to free from him, so he wrestled her to the floor, rocked his legs around her waist, also having his arms around her neck. Lee stated that he held Reed into a position until she became unresponsive, and at that point, he called 911. She was taken to the hospital and died. Take a listen to what a judge said last night.
I'm going to find that he's indigent. Mr. Lee, you'll have the following bond conditions in your case, sir. You're not to have any contact whatsoever with the family or household members of the complainant, Nancy Reed. You to surrender your passport or any travel documents to the court registry.
And under those bond conditions, Lee cannot also leave Harris County, and he cannot possess any firearms. Their 2 children have been placed in Child Protective Services. His next court appearance is scheduled for tomorrow. Reporting from downtown, I'm Rochelle Turner, KPRC 2 News.
What a mess. Like, what a mess. What a mess. Let me see if this works. Oh, it works. Did y'all hear that? That's what he needs. That nigga need to be a whole firing squad. What a mess. And now you have this 2-year-old girl. People are still searching for her. And all roads are leading to the fact we're going to find, something we don't want to see, or a child that's missing somewhere in the part of this world with some folks that she shouldn't be. Trafficking. Such a sad story, man. It's crazy how the police let his ass go. That's what kills me. That's what got me. Y'all get everything else, but you let this man go. The mental trauma those kids will have to endure because he did that in front of them. Absolutely. Absolutely. And then the cycle repeats itself. Hey, Bubbles. What's up? Regina, that sounds like bad choices. Absolutely. It's so sad and angering to hear about all these child cases. And we got to know. We got to talk about them. We got to talk about them. Oh, yeah. The Cairo, that's coming up, too. We got Cairo. That's so sad, too. That's nothing but mental health wrapped around that. The girl was posted on Facebook that she thought her child was a devil disguised in a 5-year-old child body. So she was trying to do everything in her power to take him out before he could take her out. I said she was putting that shit on Facebook. Yeah, we gonna talk about that one. That shit got me. He need a comb, and he needs to take, maybe 8 sleeping pills, free of charge. Watch him rationalize and justify his behavior. As a granny, my kids know if you want to be on some bullshit, that's on you. But my grandkids ain't. I will take them. Ask my nephew and his ex-girlfriend. Absolutely. But we live in a democracy. Wait, they let this fool out on bond. Now his bond is $250,000, but when they first showed up at the residence, you think they want to arrest him or hold him, but instead he was able to be released. And as he was released, he took the 2-year-old girl, Nadia Lee, with him. And that's when, everybody's now we have this missing girl, and he won't tell where the missing girl is. Well, that wouldn't have happened had you all just, took them down in for questioning and took the kids immediately to CPS. But I guess laws mean that you give them next thing in kin, I guess. But y'all thought that was something. Let's get into some other time fucking foolery, baby. That was something. But this other story right here, it's on the other side. So that was this story. This is one of these stories. So we're in Pennsylvania, Greene County, Pennsylvania, a little bit outside of Pittsburgh, okay? And we got this shit going on. So we have a Green father accused of beating his 6-year-old daughter and burying her alive in the backyard. Let's get into this shit. And we got a video too. And see, this is the kind of story I always tell y'all about, because you actually had the neighbors calling the police and telling them, yo, we hear kids over there getting their ass beat. We hear father yelling. We hear this shit. And you know what the police did? What y'all think they did? We talking about Greene County, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. What y'all think they did? Not a motherfucking thing. Nothing. So when we watch this video, you're gonna see this woman on there, and I called and I'm like, but let you call on a black kid doing some shit. Oh, they'd have been out there. I said, see, this is what happens when y'all want to vitriolize one population and make us be heavily scrutinized when y'all really need the motherfucking attention. Y'all really need it. Motherfuckers don't take it serious. Like, oh, he's just he's raising his kids. What you want us to do? Mind you, the whole motherfucking stepmom in the house. So he has 3 kids and a stepmom in the house. She's probably getting her ass beat. She don't say nothing. She don't call. You don't even know she lived there. So how it came to light was about a month ago, the girl the 6-year-old girl went to school with all these bruises on her arm and her back. And the teacher was like, fuck it, I had enough. Girl, what the fuck is going on? What's going on? So she called social services. Because if it wasn't for her, this shit would have never cracked. Mind you, she had been going to school all this time being abused. Nobody really calling it out. I don't know what these trailer park communities give, because that's where they were. You'll see. I don't know if they used to kids having smudges on their arms and that's really a bruise. Who knows? But if it wasn't for this one particular teacher pulling a stunt like I would, like, girl, what's going on? I remember working with a girl, and I had to ask her, I'm like, you got a black eye? And I wasn't trying to be funny. I'm like, is that a black eye? And she didn't want to say anything. She's like, no, it's not. Roman knew. So you need people that's going to be nosy in your business, because it might be the person to save your fucking life. Now, granted, you can figure out the person and figure your approach out. I could have been like, girl, is everything okay? I was naive and young. Girl, you got a black eye? What the fuck? I didn't know. But in this situation, it was perfect. So social services comes in and they just start doing an investigation. Now, mind you, that was a month, right? So social services still keeps the child in the home. They don't take the child out the home, but they just launch an investigation independent of the school to then report these findings that we now have got that came to light, which then thwarted the police to arrest him. Not initially from when you saw the marks. No, we need to launch an investigation. We need to make sure. Then they decided to do this. So they, during this investigation, they interview the girl. They're like, yeah, he really was hard on her. She used to get the brunt of the beatings. He would burn cigarettes on her arm. But this is what really terrified the rest of them. He would dig a hole in the backyard, fill it with shit, feces, and put the little girl in that hole and throw dirt on top of her, bury it on top of her. And told her that she had to stay out there until she told the truth. And there would be days where she'd be sitting in shit outside and she'd smell like doo-doo and shit. I was taken aback, because I'm a 35-year-old man, and I cannot imagine somebody taking me against my will and throwing me in some shit and I can't do nothing about it. Now imagine this innocent child scared of her father, not knowing, like, damn, dad, what up? Woo! Y'all get into this one. I told you we finna cover the whole fucking United States today. We just finna, all this bullshit going on in the world, we finna talk about it. It's really some shit out here. It's some shit out here. But check this out. I told you it's the other side of the fence right now.
Remains in jail tonight after police say he buried his daughter alive in their backyard. We first brought you this story on Monday after police arrested John Kraft. Tonight, Erica Stanish is in Greene County talking with those who know Kraft and his kids.
And they say they reported him to Child Youth Services in the past. Erica, what else did they tell you?
Yeah, I'm told by the owners of the rental property that Kraft lives in that there have been several instances where they saw signs of abuse and reported it, but they say their calls went unanswered.
It makes me feel disgusted and sad for the kids because I feel like a lot of different people failed them.
A father in prison tonight accused of abusing his 6-year-old daughter. According to paperwork, police say John Kraft buried the child in the yard as punishment when he thought she was lying. Our cameras getting an up-close look Wednesday, finding what appears to be a hole in the backyard covered in mud.
It really breaks my heart because she's such a sweet little girl, and it's sad.
We knocked on Kraft's door where the children's stepmother still resides. She didn't answer, and so far she hasn't been charged. But the owners of the rental property say it's hard to believe she wasn't.
You were in the home, so there had to have been something that you saw.
Larissa Fauner says the couple has lived in the home on Tollgate Run Road for about 3 years and says she's reported to CYS multiple times every year when she saw signs of abuse by Kraft, including when his daughter was covered in bruises.
One specific incident was I saw cigarette burns on the kids. I could hear them inside, and I could hear John yelling at the kids and the kids crying and what sounded like him hitting them.
She says despite multiple reports to CYS, her calls went unanswered.
I feel like a lot of people failed them, and that even maybe myself, I feel like I could have done more. But when I saw something, I said something, and it was out of my hands at that point.
Now, I reached out to CYS.
Let me give her a round of applause. She said, and I always say that, y'all, if you see something, just say something, text it, record it, mental note. I have notes in my phone. I put the timestamp where I'm at and what I saw. Just in case sometime down the road, X, Y, Z. Let me see if I was over there. That was something I had to take a note about. Bitch, it surely was. I do that shit. I definitely do that shit. I see a random kid running in the street. If I call 911 or some shit, but I'm gonna take a note. And she did that. And you see what happened. Nothing. Let's continue. I just wanted to make a mental note.
I asked for comment to see if they had received any reports of abuse in the past. They got back to me and said that they cannot comment on any ongoing investigation. Now, I also asked the district attorney here, and he said this case still remains under investigation. Reporting live in Waynesburg, Erica Stanish, KDK News.
I'm just flabbergasted that it's still under investigation. Like, crew, y'all be for real with me. What else is there to investigate? Like, what other tangible evidence do you need to convict this man on child abuse, child neglect, child endangerment, assault, all that kind of shit on this man? What else do we need? Do we need a video? And then what else do you need to get this bitch, this stepmom? You know that the fact that she didn't call nobody, she was an accomplice. The fact that she didn't have nothing to say, the bitch was an accomplice. You didn't see nothing. So I was just baffled by this fact, and he looks like a whole fucking predator. His name is John Kraft. I said, oh yeah, you're gonna be crafty, all right. I hope they lock your ass up. I hope you get a whole motherfucking firing squad. I hope you get exactly what's coming to you. And then these kids, that poor girl. Let me tell you about the cycle of abuse and how for women, for young girls, sometimes that begins at home, not only by what the things that they see, but the things that they go through and feel, especially at the hands of their father. That's why, as a father and having a daughter, it's best that you raise her as like if she's a princess. Like you want any other man to raise your child, to be with your child, because they come to expect that shit. I know damn well you ain't doing that. You be quick like me. I used to be like even my auntie won't even do that. Even my uncle, my uncle don't even talk to me like that. You know, that was my whole mentality, and I'm a man. So for her, this girl, what do you think her expectations are going to be for men in her future if the proper interventions haven't occurred or aren't beginning to occur? First, take that girl out of the fucking trailer park home community and away from whatever family she has. She needs to know none of that shit existed before. But what do you think? She's gonna absolutely be like, "Oh, he slapped me. Okay, I must have lied. I need to tell the truth. Shit, my dad buried me." It's traumatizing as hell, and at the own hands of your parents. That was my father who did it. Now I had to dig too deep to figure out where the mother was, but don't get me to digging. Don't get me to digging, because I will pull out. I will get the digging on that ass and figure out now, did she get killed? What happened to her? The stepmom, we know she off. So, uh, John Kraft. I'm gonna stay tuned to this story. This definitely feels sick in my gut about the daughter and the son. You know, he didn't do as much to the son, but the daughter absolutely. No, you cannot do my babies crazy and they in their 30s. Okay. They need to do the same thing to him. Yep, that's sad. It's Jeffrey Dahmer. Didn't I say that? I said this man know he giving all kind of crazy teas. I said, whoa, you'd have came and picked your kids up from school and I'd have just had to call straight up on just, are y'all looking for somebody? Is somebody it's like this man, he don't look all together. Like for real, for real. Oh my goodness. Is she alive? Yeah, she alive. If it was a dog, he'd been locked up. King's Mina, you know he would have. Now that you know for a fact. Baby, women be abused as well. That's what I'm saying. I do believe that that woman either has been abused by him and has come to know that's all she's known. Like she's probably sitting in that house like not moving, not eating, just waiting like, "Oh my god, what am I going to do?" Girl, go get freedom. Go to the nearest shelter. Go to the next state over. What you mean? You waiting on this man? You see what he did to his own kids. I can only imagine how much he thinks of you. Girl, if you don't get the fuck out of there, I'd have been going quick as they took him. I'd have been packing up as they're taking him out. I'd have been like, I knew this day was coming. I knew this day was coming. I'm on my way. I already told you, you know what's going down. I'm on my way. What's going on? She could be a victim also. If he was doing that to, yeah, absolutely. Your father is your first love. Traumatized. I'm hoping she gets counseling. Yep. I wouldn't judge stepmother too harshly without all the facts. Dig, Roman. Okay. Hey, Mrs. G. That's a trigger, but she must have looked like her mom. I wonder where the mom is. Oh, you know what, Mrs. G? That's a really good point because I do hear that sometimes when women and their older sons, and sometimes they be saying like, "I see your dad in you, your dad in your face." So I wonder if that. I didn't even think about that. That's a really good point. Probably did triggered the fuck out of him. Um, all right, y'all. So we finna get into these last two horrible, horrible stories. All right, so I think Bubbles was talking about it earlier. We got this story, okay, this crazy, crazy story coming to us out of Indiana. Now it's been ongoing for a while. Well, not I won't say for a while, but a couple of months since about April of this year. So this young boy's body was found in Indiana, and he was found inside of a suitcase. And for a while nobody really knew anything, and that was all the clues that was leaked out to the public. And so after I think months of an investigation, authorities came out in October and told us that they've arrested one suspect and they are potentially looking for the mother as the other suspect. And then they started dropping details on what happened. So let's get into this shit. This shit is crazy as hell. So, mother believed powerful demonic force lived inside her 5-year-old son who was found dead inside of a suitcase. So, let me just tell you this her her son was found in this suitcase in April of 2022. Prior to April of 2022, she started making social media posts. And so back in March, she posted this on social media. Stop getting caught up in the vessels of this realm. You guys get caught up with how old the body is. If they adults and kids, etc., don't even know if it's a full-grown demon in the child body telling you what to do because you didn't choose your soul. Better start using your third eye. Now, if anybody was her friends on social media like that, I definitely was pushing the report something button, report counseling, report a welfare check. What are you talking about? She goes one step further. She then posts this. Just because the avatar is of what we call a child does not mean that it is actually a child. there are beings that are here that are not supposed to be here that pick avatars to hide behind, to play roles, to steal energy and ruin lives. So this is in March. So she literally thought that her child was an avatar and a devil. And she went on to specify later on, it'll be on the video clip, that she thought her child was a 103-year-old man devil who smoked cigars. Whoa. I said she thought when she looked into the eyes of her child, she didn't see a child. She saw a devil that was trying to kill her. That's some sick ass shit. So that happened in March. So in April, that's when they found this body, right? Well, shortly they didn't really know when he died or when he was there, so dates weren't put around. But what we do know is that in April on Twitter, she reached out to this priest to say, "Hey, I need some guidance. I just got into a battle with my son, but it wasn't with my son, it was with the devil. I need some guidance." And that was the most alarming thing because 2 days before that, they found the body of the child in the suitcase. But see, at the time, they didn't draw these conclusions. They didn't know that, okay, the suitcase, they didn't know to check her social media then. Then they saw her social media and saw that. Then they started zooming in on everything. Now, the thing that really tied them and caught everything up was fingerprints. The fingerprints tied all of this to two women. One, this Dawn Coleman, who has these locks, and then the mother, who's actually Anderson with this short hair on the other side. So both of their fingerprints were on the bags of the body, on the suitcase luggage. So see, that's the evidence that they kept behind closed doors. They had known that these were the suspects, so they started following their social media. That's how they know 2 days later to check and started reading this and putting it together. So they finally arrested Dawn, the one with the locks, and then they're potentially looking for the mother. Now, the mother, she had this business in Atlanta. She put her son down as the secretary, and I think the other woman was her girlfriend. But before this, in January, they had got into some trouble because she was driving real fast with her son in the car, 96 miles per hour with her son in the car, and they pulled her over, got a ticket for that. She had also tried to steal from Von Moore Mall, and she punched the security guard, and she got some time for that. And so there was some stuff going on with her, but no one ever knew that this was the thing that happened. So also, here's the real ticker. Dawn, this is why she was arrested. Dawn's suitcase in all of her Facebook pictures of her chilling out in Vegas was the suitcase that they saw the boy body in. So that's how they drew it all together. Like, okay, you all are the suspects. So get into this shit. It's such a sad story. I don't understand how. I don't know. You really are got to be mentally off when you feel like the devil's in something that you created. You need some medicine.
Right now, there's an arrest warrant for a Georgia mother after her 5-year-old son's body was discovered in a suitcase in rural Indiana. 11 Alive's Bo Beth Yates has been talking to law enforcement about their efforts to track down the mom and Bo Beth. The boy was just identified during a press conference today, right?
That's exactly right. The child's body was discovered months ago, but it was only today that police identified the child as 5-year-old Cairo Jordan of Atlanta. Now, law enforcement is trying to track down the mother who was last seen in Southern California.
It's a bittersweet day. Bitter because no matter what progress is made, what happens in a case, we're still dealing with the tragic death of a precious young child.
Today, police in Indiana identified a 5-year-old Atlanta boy, Cairo Jordan, after his body was found stuffed in a suitcase left on the side of the road earlier this year.
April 16th of this year, 2022, a young child was found deceased in a very distinctive suitcase on Holder Road in southeast Washington County near Pekin, Indiana. Holder Road is a dead-end road. It's very isolated.
And officials now say forensic evidence is tying the boy's mother to his death.
The Washington County Circuit Court issued an arrest warrant for murder for the mother, DeJuan Anderson. DeJuan Anderson is last known to have been in the Echo Park area of Los Angeles, California. But since this investigation began, she's traveled to several locations west, including Houston, Las Vegas, Los Angeles, San Diego, and San Francisco.
According to our sister station, WHAS, Anderson was arrested for child endangerment in March of this year. And a recent police affidavit states she posted repeatedly on social media about demons using her children as avatar. With one post reading in part, I had to raise my frequency, heal myself, and past lives to exorcise a powerful demonic force within my son.
Again, we need the public's help in locating the mother, DeJuan Anderson.
Now, police say fingerprints on trash bags inside the suitcase tie Anderson to the body. There are also a second arrest in this case. Their name, Don Coleman. Those fingerprints also allegedly were found on the trash bags. Now, anyone with information about DeJuan Anderson's whereabouts is asked to call the police.
Okay, Bobeth, and hopefully
Baby, when I tell you it's some crazy shit going on out here in the world, it really is some crazy shit going on, baby. Dig, okay? I'm gonna look for the mom, because if something happened to her, we gonna draw this all together. Not the trigger. Oh yeah. Oh, that bitch crazy. Yeah, I would have been looking on Facebook like, cause you see Tamika, you saw that shit she posted the other day. That's why a lot of people be blocking me on my family, cause I definitely be. What the fuck you got going on? Unchecked mental illness. Our system be failing us. Oh my god, on the side of the road. Yeah. Yes. Now that is way too much. All right. Now we about to get into this last story. Okay, this last story is about the twins that escaped their mother's abuse, and it's going all over the news. I saw this shit this morning and I just couldn't even. I said, "What?" These malnourished twins were caught on a doorbell in Texas trying to escape their mother's abuse. But before I do that, I need to take just a little break. So y'all rock with me. I'm gonna put this little video on, but y'all stay right there. Get your coffees filled up for our last story. Let's go. Well, this candle smells so good. He did his thing. I mean, he probably, I don't know, not going to talk about the what, but it definitely comes out. It was coming out the box, and now I could just definitely smell it as it's heating up. So shout out to Andrew Caldwell and his wellness candle. All right, let's get into this last story. She is sick mentally. Yes, she is. Hot spicy tea. Leak you. Hey, Leak you. Shout out to Leak you. You're gonna start making me put liquor in my coffee cup with these news stories. um Thank y'all for being here, and make sure y'all hit that like button. Now, hopefully we at 40 up to 40 likes today. I really appreciate y'all letting me come have some conversation with y'all on these crazy stories that's going on in the world. All right, so now our last story of today, it's a very, very sad story. This story comes to us out of Texas. So we have these kids who, so crazy ass story. This woman has 5 kids, okay? And apparently she lived in this community and she had them all tied up in the basement in in the laundry room. She had their hands shackled together and their feet tied together in the basement, and they had to shit and piss on themselves. They couldn't get food or anything, and that was her way of taking care of them. Now, just some back history. This woman had been tried in Louisiana on child abuse. They had already, because she was beating her kids and they say buttocks, but in the ass, bleeding. She was doing all of this shit, malnourished and all of this stuff. And so now her 2 twins, they were in the basement. Mind you, she was in Louisiana at the time. So they were in the basement and they were trying to get these cuffs off their hands. And so finally, the girl of the twin was able to get herself free. And so, what we see on this camera I'm about to play for you all is we see the kids going from house to house. Hey, I need help. Can y'all help and let us in? No shade to the black man, but he was like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. Nah, I can't do nothing for you. Now I understood why. Because first I was like, well, damn. But he wasn't even at home. He was out of town. So he was catching that on his phone. But it was this woman who didn't want to be revealed, white woman, who allowed the kids to come in, and she locked her door and called the police. She took pictures of them, and here's the pictures before we go into the video. Now, before I do this, I'm playing the video from YouTube, so obviously it's okay to play the video. But I want to let you know that, give you this disclaimer that these images and this video that you are about to see is disturbing. It absolutely is disturbing. And if you have any children in the room or if someone who might be, alarmed or triggered, you might want to turn the camera away. So I just want to make sure I put that disclaimer out that I don't think that this part of the show is suitable for children. And so now this is the mother and this is the boyfriend. And now they didn't say that the boyfriend did anything, but they did arrest him because they said they are alleging that there was some assault going on his part as well. Here's some pictures of the abuse. So here's the girl's hands with the handcuffs, and then you'll also see the arms of the boy. The girl was wearing a plastic bag as her shirt when she arrived at the neighbor's doorsteps. So get into this. This shit is crazy. Texas and Louisiana. The Nolans.
A mother and her boyfriend accused of handcuffing her children, starving them, and holding them captive in a laundry room are set to be brought back to Harris County tomorrow.
Zakia Duncan and Jova Terrell were found in Baton Rouge after an Amber Alert was issued in Texas. Matt Doherty in Cyprus tonight with the video of the teen twins starving and begging for help. We want to alert you, the images you're about to see are difficult to watch. Matt?
Nobody could have imagined what was allegedly happening inside of this home. The kids who escaped described a life that is truly a nightmare.
It's close to 5 o'clock on Tuesday morning. Home surveillance cameras show this pair of 16-year-old twins, a boy and a girl, who have just escaped. They spent more than half an hour going door to door, desperately seeking help.
You need some help?
Yes. Can you put some letters in, please?
What's wrong with you? What? What happened?
Please. We just need somewhere to be right now.
No, we can't do that.
Unsure of the circumstances, nearly all of the neighbors told the twins to keep moving. At about 5:30, the temperature was in the 50s.
It was exactly 5:27 in the morning when I heard the doorbell ring.
A single mother at home with her daughter was the first and only person to open the door.
I just knew they were kids right away, so I quickly opened the door. I told them to come in, and I quickly shut the door and I locked it.
The woman, who asked that we not use her name or show her face, says she led the twins to her kitchen.
I sat them down, I brought them blankets, covered them up, and the first thing the little boy said was, "We're starving." Basically, we're saying we're hungry. You're gonna give me something to eat.
Looking at the 16-year-olds, it was obvious. After getting them something to eat, she started asking questions.
When the little girl was here standing, she was visibly shaking and was showing me her handcuffs. They would say, "We just broke out of these." They told me that their mom kept them locked in a laundry room, naked, zip tied from the ankles and handcuffed from the wrist. They said we would pee and poop on ourselves. And they said when we needed to bathe, the mom would let them use the dirty mop water to bathe. They didn't get a bath. They got dirty mop water.
It turned out Zakiah Duncan had been arrested for child abuse in the past in Louisiana. Court documents show her children were removed from the home back in 2012. We asked Louisiana's Department of Children and Family Services why the kids were returned, but they told us state law prevents the agency from even acknowledging an investigation.
How can a mother do this to their kids? How can a mother feel like this is okay to do? They deserve it. No kid deserves this.
We spoke with psychologist Dr. Whitney Krausen with Houston's Children's Assessment Center. She says children who suffer this kind of abuse can recover with the proper help.
Oftentimes we think
What a fucking disgrace. I cannot believe that a woman, a parent would allow their child to be left under those circumstances. I'm just trying to figure, what lifestyle are you chasing to go find? And then talk about a failed system. Why were the children returned? And then here we go with this bullshit. We can't release those details, but you can release all the other details. Somebody ass need to be on the line. The way those kids look, the fact that we can see these kids out here like that is horrible, beyond horrible. That's beyond return. Those kids are damaged for real, for real. And the reason I say that is because it's not we're repairing one child. You got to repair them collectively because the memories aren't just one off. They're all together. We share stories about the trauma that we've been through. That's not shit you can take away. So we're going to forever together remember that. Now, how we proceed to move forward is different. One person may be more traumatized and may live in that a little bit longer than the other ones. And I'm talking only from my own experience. I have 3 younger brothers. We all been through some shit. Some of us got over it. Some of us still harbor it. Some may trigger the other ones. Then you got this girl. That's what got me too. Was like what you doing? You got this girl out here like this too, and this young. What the fuck? That's all I fucking see. Thank you for the kids. Thank you for the reproduction and contributing to the world. You can be gone now. Your services are no longer needed. I don't give a fuck about her or the boyfriend, to be honest with you. Tragedy. Tragic. Kids out here in the world like this. What mom? What reason? There's no fucking reason at all. And we got this kind of shit in the world. I saw this headline and I said, I cannot believe it. I can't believe it. I can't. Cash apps. Give me 15 minutes with the mother. Okay, who you telling? I'm going straight for the wig, snatching that bitch right off. Get your fucking ass over here. Fuck you trying to roughhouse these kids. It gives real insecurity, like you ain't in control of your own life, so you got to find the next closest thing to be in control of and run. There's nothing that you can really control. Is that man controlling you and beating you? See, yeah, I'm glad they got his ass too. It's getting out of control and it's a little bit ridiculous. Smart kids, yeah, very much smart. And the girl, her hand was so swollen because she had been trying to cut herself free and break through to get this off her hand. Pushing it forward, swole her hand till she got it out. Do you know how that had to feel to do this that long to get it out? Jesus Christ. Baby, I hope they get all kind of scholarships and love and a new they need to go travel. They need to go see some experience. They need to be really touched. For real, for real. There is a special place in hell for that mother. I'm seeing double right that our people never open the door to these kids. You saw that, right? You saw that. See, that's why I said I understand the man who wasn't there. He wasn't physically there. He wasn't in town. But the other people, when you physically open your door and you see them are kids, the one woman was like, "Yeah, I opened my door and closed that bitch back," because she didn't know if it was a trick to get robbed or nothing. So, but she did the right thing. She definitely, absolutely, go off for her. She did the right fucking thing. But the other ones, I'm not. I don't know. I wouldn't hit a woman, but that boyfriend, his ass beat, so he knew what was going on. Yeah, and I think he probably was an accomplice. Cash apps, you get the mom, I got the boyfriend, and I'm just swinging on both. I'm just gonna be in the middle, bitch. Wow, wow, just knocking. Serious. Sorry to hear that. Absolutely. How did you heal from your childhood? Oh, therapy. Absolutely. 2 bouts of therapy, one back in 2016 and one last year. Absolutely. Sitting down and talking through it and really knowing that I'm not the only person in the world who goes through it. And my hero at the first time back in 2016 when I had my really big breakdown, she suggested, she's like, "Are you all into that social media?" She said you should connect to different groups where there are kids who may have been in less fortunate situations than you are, who actually are, foster kids or adopted kids, wardens of the state. And I actually did that. I started watching videos on YouTube and I was amazed at how it made me feel in terms of my own experiences. Like, wow, it made me give my mother a lot more credit. It made me really, that's really what it did in my situation because mine wasn't getting beat and all that kind of stuff. It was just, dealing with parents on substance abuse and choosing them over us and feeling like, not wanted. But when I look at how it all went down and look at these kids, some kids were just left in houses, abandoned houses and crack houses, these stories. And I'm like, whoa. So for me to actually, it resonated with me. I was able to say, well, mom, I do find these things to be comforting to know. Yeah, you love me. You just chose, different things. So for me, that's how it helped me. For them, they're gonna need sort of deep therapy, therapy, collective therapy, group therapy. They're gonna need individual counseling. They're gonna also need experiential therapy, meaning you need to be put in certain experiences. And sometimes that could be travel. For me, it was being put in certain experiences where I was talking to other people in a group setting, which I did one time, and that was enough for me because everybody was younger than me. It was like I was dealing with issues of my childhood at an older age. So as I'm dealing with it, I'm sitting in a room with, I'm looking around like, I know you better get your shit together. So they're gonna need all of that. Yeah, they're gonna need a lot of love. I'm talking about the kind of love where it's almost you can't even say no to them, and your no needs to be a positive no. Something we learned in my own work, my workplace. But you know, can we get some snacks? Well, snacks are for later, or snacks are for after you eat your food, or snacks are once you get that homework done. It can't be no. It has to be, well, which snack you want? Well, all right, I'm gonna save those Oreos for a little bit later, but you got to do the homework. I need to see the homework done. You got to really, they need nothing but love because everything is traumatizing. You might just be trying to reach on the top shelf and they may think they finna get hit. You might need to say, "Hey, I'm about to go out. You want to grab that up there for me, or I'll get it. I'll get it. Never mind." That way, they know you're doing that instead of it's all kind of love therapy. So it's whoo, baby. Don't get me to start talking about it. That is so. It really is, and they're innocent babies, and that video will always be out there. That's the other thing. Like my kid, and you sitting in jail thinking my babies are out there walking from door to door for some shit I did. What the fuck is wrong with me? Like that's like when I have to yell at Eli. I had to yell at him last night because he will not eat this expensive ass dog food I bought him. And it's like, what is wrong with you? So I went out after I was like, you better fucking eat this food. I'm not putting nothing else because all he want to do is eat something. What you think I did last night at 8:45? Ran to Petco before they closed at 9 p.m. and got him the kind of food he likes. And I made it for him and he sat right there and ate it. But it's you understand that like it's not about you no more. And that's a dog. So what the fuck are y'all doing with these kids? They couldn't be doing much to be tying them up in the laundry room and then taking your ass to Louisiana. I know they're close states, but still, I'm not tying my dog up in. My dog don't even be in a crate when I'm gone. He just be chilling in this bitch. He got all kind of rooms. If they could have a date, he'd be having bitches over here. Yes, he would. You know what I'm saying? And so, whoa. And where's your grandparents? Where's auntie, uncle? Like where they at? Nobody asked about how your kids doing. First thing my mom doing, she called me. How's Eli? I'll be like, he fine. So I don't know. I can't relate, but I know that they're gonna need some. They're gonna need it. A lot of it. A lot of love. I'm right behind you on that. It's not easy raising children without help. Okay, close the door, but you can call the police. Right. My dog the same. He wants stable food. Yeah. I just got him in this bad habit. He see me eating. He wanted. Yesterday I had made some meatloaf and I had some mashed potatoes and gravy and I made some roasted carrots. And he just I'm like I put his food out for him to eat and then I made my food. And then I went out and to my living room to eat. He ran his ass in there sitting. I said, I know the fuck you not. And he cowered down and I'm eating. He peeked his head. I said, Eli, I'm not playing with you. I'm not doing this today. Go eat your food. And I got him some shit. My friend was telling me that she get her dog and it's good and I'm like, yeah, my dog don't do all of that. He's like he don't do all of that. So I went and got him the same shit he got. He's back to eating what he eats. Little spoiled ass. Yeah, talking just about you. It's not easy, but it's doable. It is our choice to have as many children as we do. I raised 4 sons all a year and a half apart. Was it hard? Yes. Did I do it and do it well? Yes. I know that's right. Shout out to the queen. I know that's right. Yes, y'all. So I'm gonna stay tuned to this story because I want to know what's gonna happen to these. Just look at them. She got braces in her mouth, and he just looked like he can't. Let me not say that because that'll be stereotyping. So that's all the stories I have for you all today. Thank y'all for being here. I hope y'all hit that like button. It's definitely been a great journey having this conversation with y'all today. And don't forget, our quote of the day and the weekend is friendship isn't about who you've known the longest. It's about who has walked into your life and said, listen, I'm here for you and has proved it. It's about the impact somebody makes in your life. It's about what they do for you and what you do for them, the benefit you get out of it and the benefit they get in the transaction. Everything is transactional, and it doesn't have to be a negative thing. Everything could be positive transactions. Shit, go to the ATM, you pulling out money, that's a positive transaction. You go to that bitch and it's telling you ain't got none, it's a negative you ain't putting nothing in there. So you can work that, but always believe that it's not about who's been around for an X amount of years, but rather who is contributing to you and making you feel like the best you and getting you close to your goals. And it's so timely for me in my life and, my past birthday weekend and just how I'm moving in my future. And I wanted to share it with you all just in your lives. I don't know what you're going through, but if there's folks around and you really haven't tuned into them, but, they're around constantly, for specific reasons, or you feel good or the energy is good, you should really support that because we don't get that often the older you get. Um, and it's always wise to hone that energy. I always try to hone it. Something I picked up from Beyonce. She sends flowers to every fucking person randomly and for something great. And so something I've been trying to hone in on is just randomly sending up, a table of flowers to somebody. Thank you for X, Y, and Z. Just out the blue randomly. Because I think that's so warming, to know that. And that you never know when that moment comes back to you and you may need something and you've already put out that good energy. So, and just be genuine with it too. So I wanted to share that with you all. Of course, we talked about Biden and the student loans. We talked about Brittany Griner and her now being in a penal colony. And please hit the replay so you hear how I describe what a penal colony is. We talked about the governor's race and how everything is playing out, and we need to stay tuned to this Georgia race, as well as every other governor's race going on. Remember, there's about 36 states holding governor elections this in November, and of that, 20 of them are fighting for that Republican seat. The others, what is it, 16? They're already sort of been divided whether they're going to be Republican or Democrat. No one's running a contested. We talked about the crazy coworker who poured bleach into his coworker's Pepsi can. We talked about the man who was pinned in the garage trying to pay for his ticket. You got to go back and listen to that story because it happened twice in the same garage. Bitch, y'all need to tear that shit down or redesign how that shit work, because you need, or put a sign that say "Don't bend down, bitch," or put it in brake, ho, or something. Because the fuck, I mean, I even thought about it too. Like when I was leaving the airport, I ain't have to do all of that. I took it off the visor and stuck it in. What's all of this hitting the gas and open the door? That sound a little bit delayed. You're doing too much. Just to pay the parking, you gotta open the door, lean all out, back that bitch up and get closer. If you lazy like me. Fuck. So he died from this job. And it's no, I'm not laughing. So then we moved on to this freaky thing about this Detroit woman accused of stabbing her grandson, and she's arraigned on first-degree child abuse. And it was just a really freaky story, and the mother kind of irritated me by saying that she knows the grandmother suffers from mental illness. You do? Oh, okay. I want to inspect who else you be dropping your kids off to and what you know about them. We also talked about the 2-year-old who's been missing since her mother was killed in a hotel at the hands of her father, who strangled her. He has been in custody, but he is not releasing any details on where this 2-year-old girl may be. They said that in his hotel, it did look like a crime scene. So I'm going to stay tuned to this story. Nadia Lee, here's another image of her. If you find any information, they want you to call 281-309-9500 or send an email to info@texaseqsearch.org. That's EQUU search.org. Then we also got into this crazy story about John Kraft, who was accused of beating his 6-year-old. So the school called, got social work involved. After they started launching an investigation, come to find out the man be throwing his daughter in the backyard and burying her in his feces mud, and until she told the truth, because she was lying. And now the stepmom is just sitting in the house, I guess, quiet. All kind of fuckery going on there. And we also talked about Cairo, the young boy who was found in a suitcase at the hands of Don Coleman and Dwayne Anderson. And now they're looking for the mother. She's on the loose. A $250,000 award has been put out. Just crazy. Go back and listen to that story. Her social media posts were off the fucking chain. Then we also moved into these kids in the final story of them showing up on a Ring doorbell as malnourished Texas twins seeking help because their mother locked them in a basement. Again, another story I just can't put my hands around. Don't understand what's going on in the world. So shout out to everybody here that we talked about today, all of these stories. If you haven't, please make sure you hit that like button, show some support, show some love. I appreciate you being here. I'll be back on Monday for some. We'll be back to our regularly scheduled program. I'll be back Monday with some hot topics over the weekend. Hopefully, it'd be some stuff that drew up that caused me to have some interest. But again, let me thank y'all for giving me a great birthday live, a great birthday energy. I appreciate that. I want to thank y'all for being here on the channel. If you're new to the channel, your first time, drop down one time, say what up. Everybody here, we support each other. We love everybody's comments. Nothing is, if you feel a certain way, I'm cool, you cool with it. Just ask that we all respectful of each other. And yeah, that's it. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for being here too. Baby, if we get hungry enough, he will eat. Okay? Eli had nerve enough to jump up on. I'm sitting at my couch. He jumped up on the rest. I said, see, this is why people have crates for their dogs. And I try not to put you in a crate. I gave your crate away, but don't make me go buy another one. Because I will crate your ass. Have a wonderful Friday. You too, Ox City Queen. And thank you for being here. Hot Spicy Tea, you too. Bubbles, thank you for hitting the replay. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. We rocking. Yes, me, my mom, and my other daughters make it work. Her mom comes to see her on her days off, and she video chats every night. 1 more month to go. Aw. That's right. Friendship is give and take. Yes. Thank you, Joe, for being here. Moddies. This isn't our first rodeo. My older daughter did Iraq 13 years ago. Her son was 10 months old when she left. Her commander pulled strings and surprised her by flying her for her first birthday. Aw. Just giving this good love, family love energy. Kingsman, and thank you for being here, because sometimes we need to balance some of this crazy shit out with what really is some good love energy. So keep that going. Keep that energy going, those examples going. Thank you, mister. Thank you, mister. I appreciate you for being here. Shout out to mister. All right, y'all. So I will see y'all on the flip side. I hope y'all enjoyed this show. Until next time, News Crew. Until next time. Deuces.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Thank you for being here this morning. Thank you for being here this morning.
Let's go. Oh, let's start this show. King Roman News gonna come right through, gonna give you that news just like you know he can do. Hot topics in your face, baby. King Roman knows his place, baby. King Roman News.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning.
6:30 a.m. Eastern time, baby. He's gonna come right on time with the news just for you. Celebrities, news, politics, and local news just for you. King Roman News.
Drop it off. Pop it off. You got it off. You rock it off.
Let's go. Hey, let's start this show. King Roman News, coming just for you. King Roman News, coming just for you. 6:30 a.m. Eastern time, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. King Roman News, King Roman News. Let's go. Hey, let's start this show. Let's go.